Unemployed boy in the streets, tiger in the sheets. This is Tropical Malady. What's scarier, lions or tigers?
I would say equally. I don't even know if one is more terrifying than the other. What do you think?
The lions.
Lions are more terrifying?
Because tigers are so cute, I would say.
Right. So that it's that mane that gets you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That mane means business. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Seen and Heard. This is the podcast all about the sight and sound greatest films of all time list. I'm Greg.
I'm Jackie.
And we are on the 2022 critics list. And we have arrived at Tropical Malady. What number is this on the list? I should have had it. Oh, it's 95.
Are we sure?
Yeah. This is one of those tied for 95 entries.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's a few of these. So it's tied with Black Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And
Once Upon a Time in the West, A Man Escaped, The General, Black Girl, Tropical Malady, Get Out. Those are all 95.
wow, too many. Too many. Break
but
the
don't
ties.
Don't worry. There's no 94, 93, or 92, or 91. It goes to 90 right after
Yeah,
that.
of course. It takes up all the spots.
11 films occupy 90.
Hmm.
Like the 90s, let's say.
How fun.
I don't understand it, but whatever.
I guess if we sound a little more lethargic than usual, it's because we're recording very early in the morning.
This was the only time we could this week.
But we do have our coffee.
Greg has a Bob's Big Boy mug.
Yeah, represent. But you're also like, having grown up here, you're like, fuck Bob's Big Boy, right?
Yeah. It's fun, though. It's cute.
I love it.
It's cute.
It's just like everything you ever wanted a diner to be is Bob's.
Yeah, but the food's not very good.
I feel like if you get the right thing, like their pancakes and waffles are really good.
You can't go wrong with like a sandwich.
Yeah.
But the burger, I feel like, is...
The burger is, yeah, the actual Big Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not great. But then you get the malts and the shakes and...
Growing up, my dad would always buy the Bob's Big Boy blue cheese dressing.
Hell yeah.
He put that on every salad. He was obsessed
I
with
buy
that.
the Bob's ranch.
The ranch.
Yeah. But I love blue cheese. I feel like I buy the ranch and then when I go to Bob's, I order the blue
You order
cheese.
Blue cheese.
Yeah, I love blue cheese. Before we get into this week's film, Jackie, what else have you been watching?
I did see Sinners.
Oh, what'd you think?
I really liked it.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah. It impressed me several times, especially like the music and dance sequences. Yeah, and I think it does something special that I haven't seen in a studio film in a while. I agree with you on the endings. Like, sure, there's a lot.
Yeah.
But overall, I did enjoy it. I thought it was special. That and Spirit of the Beehive, I rewatched it.
Nice.
It was really good.
I love Spirit of the Beehive.
It's so good.
We did that pretty early on.
Yeah.
Mostly I've just been watching TV. I've been watching The Studio, which is fantastic. Last of Us finished last week. I've been watching The Civil War by Ken Burns.
Oh, yeah.
I've been watching the Ken Russell Lady Chatterley miniseries.
Oh, how's it
I'm
going?
halfway through. It's good. And again, I haven't read the book, so I don't know, but it's good. Although Molly thinks that Sean Bean is a little too animalistic in it, but
He's supposed to be.
okay, good. Because she's seen another adaptation and she's like, oh, he was like not quite as like, you know, grunty in that one. And I was like, I feel like the Ken Russell one is probably closer to the book, just having read most of Women in Love and like seeing the adaptation of that. It's like how close it was.
He's pretty raunchy in the book.
Okay.
Like yeah.
But yeah, I've just mostly been watching TV.
It happens.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just jump right into this week's film.
Yeah.
From 2004, this is Apichatpong, Weerasethakul, Tropical Malady.
Come to come 타오르는 탕미로 쓰니 헤이로 검자에 자 come to come 첫내 전도เธอได้ทุกอย่างเรื่องราวของเราที่ผ่านมา
Tropical Malady was released in 2004. It was written and directed by Apichatpong Weerasethakul. Cinematography by Jaron Pengpanich, Vichy Tanapanich, and Jean-Louis Viallard. The film is made up of 2 parts. In the first part, a soldier, Kang, is lodging with a family in the jungle. The soldiers are there investigating the disappearance of livestock. He meets the son of the family, Tong. Later, they run into each other in town and form a friendship. After groping each other at a movie, it turns into a romance. Eventually, after a moment of passion, Tong walks off into the woods and Kang drives back to town on his motorcycle alone. We then see Tong in his bedroom at home, and later Kang entering the empty bedroom and sitting on the bed for a moment. In the second part, a soldier, played by the same actor as Kang, is searching the forest for a shaman who can transform into animals, now in the form of a tiger. The spirit is suspected to be responsible for the disappearance of livestock and villagers. The tiger and the soldier play cat and mouse. Eventually, the spirit shows himself in human form, played by the same actor as Tong, and beats the soldier unconscious. A monkey tells the soldier he has to kill the spirit or be devoured forever into the spirit world. The soldier comes face to face with the tiger. Mesmerized, the soldier surrenders his flesh and spirit to the tiger. The film stars Banlop Lomnoy as Kang and Sakta Kebuadi as Tong. The original film title is Sud Pralud, which translates to monster or strange beast. And technically, I guess the first half is called Tropical Malady, and the second half is called A Spirit's Path. They have their own credit sequences and title sequences. The first half of the film was inspired by a Japanese short story by Atsushi Nakayama called Tiger Poet, while the second half is inspired by the Thai oral folklore of Noi Ithanon. Tropical Malady was the first Thai film to be shown in competition at the Cannes Film Festival in 2004. It ended up winning the jury prize, but the critic reviews weren't great upon its release. Many people did not even sit through the whole film festival screening. In 2016, Sight and Sound did a poll of the greatest LGBTQ films of all time, and Tropical Malady was number 6. There's a little Uncle Bunmi Easter egg. So Weerasethakul film Uncle Bunmi, Who Can Recall His Past Lives, was released in 2010. In this film, Tong mentions that his Uncle Bunmi can remember up to 200 years of his past lives. The character of Tong returns in Uncle Bunmi. He is the nephew.
Right.
So we got a nice little future. What does it mean? Like, I guess
it's probably just planted the seed here where he was like, "Oh, really I liked that line, and like let's explore that."
Can you
further.
call it an Easter egg for a film that isn't even out yet?
I wouldn't call it an Easter egg
like
because Easter egg is associated with like Marvel shit. It's like Easter egg has been. It used to be fun where filmmakers would put little things in there like Tarantino with his red apple cigarettes or whatever, and now it's just become such a dirty corporate word that like I can't even be fucked to use it anymore.
Everything has to come back to this. Everything. What are your initial thoughts?
Okay, so here we are. It's pretty early. We have our coffee. And
we're doing such a dreamy movie. Like, I feel like I'm asleep right now.
It's an intimidating movie to talk about, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you get a movie that's pretty straightforward and, like, it makes our jobs a little easier because
do the
movie,
right thing.
do the right thing. But then sometimes, you get something that's really heady and complex and can be interpreted many different ways. And so I feel like that's where we're at right now. But I'll just say I'm a huge fan of his. I love him. I think the first film I saw was Uncle Bunmi because when that came out, it did make like a pretty big splash in the art film world. And when I saw Uncle Bunmi, it's 100% my kind of movie. Like I remember seeing it and being like, oh my God, like it felt like it was made for me. And I'm not Thai and I don't know much about Thailand or, and the myths of Thailand and all that stuff, but the dreaminess of it and the jungle setting and his slow approach, slow cinema approach, like all that stuff I really responded to. But on top of that, he has really human stories in his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw, actually, when it came out, we saw Memoria at that screening where that guy fell asleep in the first 5 minutes
Snoring
and was
really
snoring
loudly.
through the rest of the movie. I think that's all I've seen, actually. I have Cemetery of Splendor on disc, but I've never watched it. And I think it's because you have to be in such a specific mood for one of his movies. So I'll preface this by saying this movie was annoying to watch because it's not streaming anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't pay to rent it.
No.
You would search it and just nothing would come up. Finally, I texted you. I was like, where did you watch it? You said Canopy. So I pull it up on my Canopy app. Sorry for all this preamble, but I feel like it colors the experience. I pull it up on Canopy and it just doesn't play. It plays for like 5 seconds and it freezes.
Why?
And it looks like shit too. And then so I restart it, play it again. 5 seconds, freezes. Then it crashes my Roku app. I reboot the app. I try to play it again. 5 seconds, freezes, crashes my Roku app. This cycle happened like 10 times and I was so pissed. So I got to rent it and some fucker has it checked out. Of course, it's like past due also. Like it's like a week past due. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So at this point, I'm just like, I came home last night and just watched it on Molly's laptop and strangely watching it on her laptop. I guess the Canopy app on her, sorry, not laptop, iPad. I sound like I'm 80 years old. Yeah, one of those I watched on one of those telephones, but I watched on her iPad and the app was fine. But this movie looks like shit.
Yeah.
And I looked it up later and it was shot on 35. It's a 35 millimeter negative.
Huh,
So
why
shot
does it
on
look
film.
so- yeah.
Whoever is the custodian, I don't know if it's Strand Releasing or whoever is the custodian of this movie, has not put in the work to, like, this hasn't been restored.
Yeah.
It's desperately in need of a restoration.
I feel like it would be great.
It almost looks shot on video at times.
It did.
And it's like, it does the movie a huge disservice because he's such a visual filmmaker. And like thinking about his other films that I've seen, they're so not like digital looking. Even if he did shoot them digitally, they don't have that. They look much more filmic. So please, I mean, maybe this is on the short list for a Criterion or whoever else to release, but it needs a proper restoration.
It used to be on the channel.
It did.
Don't know about anything else.
Okay, so I remember. So this was like a couple years ago. I tried to watch it then. I saw the first 5 minutes and it was so jarring how bad it looked that I turned it off. So that was on the Criterion channel.
Wow.
So this is just what the master looks like right now. It needs a restoration badly.
Wow.
I think that will kind of open up the movie a little bit, not to sound too like techie, like bro, 4K restoration, but really all the nuances of this movie would come out in like a beautiful restoration.
Because especially like I was watching it on TV again. Yeah, the quality is not great. I was watching it. Okay, so by the way, I just bought a brand new Samsung TV. Sorry, no Canopy app on Samsung. Why? Does anyone know?
Yeah, well, the simple answer is the interface on smart TVs is always kind of bad, and people often recommend that you have some extra, whether it's a Roku or an Apple TV or something, because those actually have good interfaces, and you can get. Same with my TV. That's the whole reason I have a Roku is for the Criterion channel, because it doesn't come on my LG TV. Like I can't get it on there.
On your LG, there's no Criterion channel?
Yeah.
So do you have to use your Roku remote?
Mm-hmm.
That's so annoying.
Yeah.
Well, this has Criterion, but again, you're right. The interface, slow, laggy. It's a brand new TV. Like, I don't understand why it's like this.
It's just part of it, I know.
So I watched it on, so no Canopy app.
Wait, what inch TV did you get?
55.
People are like waiting for us to get to the movie.
55.
Okay, yeah, good size.
Just because like that was the size of my console, and it's not a big apartment. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, no and I was going crazy. Like I kept searching and like nothing was coming up, and I was like, it can't be. This is a brand new TV. Like what? So then I went on my computer. I watched, like I pulled it up, Canopy, and then I have an HDMI cord that connects my laptop to my TV. You don't have one of those?
No, I don't.
You should get one.
We usually just AirPlay, but
AirPlay is too slow. It's
yeah.
too lag. I think you have to have a wired connection.
Yeah.
You couldn't AirPlay the iPad to the TV?
At that point, I was like, fuck it. I was over trying to make it work. And I was like,
Got it.
So for the first time in years, I watched a movie on like an iPad or something. But I had headphones in, so.
So I watched it like that. Again, at least it was on a TV, but you're right. Quality not great. It is hard to tell certain things, like especially in the beginning when I'm trying to get to know like what the movie is about. I didn't know who Tong was when they started talking on that bus. Like I was like, who is that? Especially because like there's no close-ups.
Right.
Especially when they're at the family house. There's no close-up of Tong.
I kind of like that, though.
I like it, too. And I'm sure if the quality was better, I would have been able to tell. Because there's just one shot of him walking in a white T-shirt in a field.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but all that to say, like, I think this movie, like, filled me with wonder. I actually really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to describe the experience in one word, it would be, like, wondrous. I'm wondering what happened. I'm just in wonder. And yeah, that's how I would describe it. I think this brand of like magical realism that he has created is so much like his own thing. It's incredible. Like he has his own film language, like truly, truly, truly. It's not even realism. It's like magical naturalism. Like it's more real than realism. And I thought the film was extremely unexpected and like, but at the same time being so slow and naturalistic. Like how do you have extremely unexpected and also very slow? Like that is amazing. Yeah, and then there's like moments of sweeping romance that like caught me really off guard. And I didn't know this was a romance. Like I had no clue going in what this was. And I was just completely surprised and delighted. I really liked it.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it too. And I think you go in, and I think it's like what you said, like it starts and it is one of those films that takes a second for you to get your bearings. Like so many great films. It doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't say, here's this person, here's that person. I
prefer that.
You kind of like, it shows you these lives happening and then you kind of just fall in line with them.
Yeah.
So it is a little jarring at first and certainly the quality didn't help. And I think too, just the expectation of his later work, and you're like, wait, what? This is him? Like it doesn't really feel like him when it starts.
Yeah.
You're like, what is
Especially
this?
with the pop song.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, but first I want to talk.
Well, hold on, I haven't finished my initial thoughts, Jackie.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, listen.
You let me ramble on.
No,
so
it's
I thought
fine.
You were done.
No, but I was just gonna say that I agree with you. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
When this gets restored, it's going to be really
I look forward to
lit.
it that you lit. Yeah. I'm sure that's exactly what he's saying.
All the girlies are going to go to the Las Feliz and see it restored at the Cinematheque. It's going to be lit.
Yeah, he's had his career has so far had a really interesting trajectory, and no, but this is one of his. It's not his first film, but I think this is like the first one where people took notice. And in some ways, it kind of feels, I'll admit that while I was watching this, especially before the romance stuff starts really taking off, I was like, wait, why is this the Joe movie they have on here? People call him Joe. He calls himself Joe. I was wondering, like, why is this the movie when there's so many other great ones? Like, why pick this one? Just because it was like his big breakout or whatever. But then as more stuff, I was presented with more things like the romance, the little moments of the romance. And then when it switches to the whole second story, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like to bounce off what you said, I totally agree. This like magical realism that's steeped in this very kind of, God, there's an old world kind of mythology thing going on with his work. And I think you're right. He has created his own cinematic language, and to compare him to other filmmakers even is kind of a disservice, but I'm sure he is a fan of David Lynch and Tarkovsky and, you know, all the other references you can kind of pull. Like, I'm sure he's seen those movies, but it's to his credit that you never think about those people while you're watching his movies. You're like, this is a Joe movie, you know? So yeah, I also really liked it. Is it my favorite of his? No. Just because, especially the Uncle Boonmee and Memoria. Well, it's tough. We'll We'll see. Maybe over the course of this episode, I'll end up saying this one's my favorite.
I feel like if I saw this like actually in like the way that you're supposed to see it on a big screen, normal 35, it might be my favorite.
Yeah, you might be right.
Let's hear what he had to say about this film. So he said, I wanted the first half to seem unrealistic, like a memory of something, so that when you leave the theater, you question what was real and what wasn't. That's just the first half, though.
It's beautiful.
So,
That's
like,
beautiful.
what does he mean? What about the second half? And then about the break in the middle, he said he wanted that to be like a mirror that reflects both ways.
Cool.
Cool.
See, I like the way that he thinks.
Yeah. And then on the second half, he said, emotions are revealed by the jungle. It becomes a kind of mindscape.
Yes, totally. Well, that does come off.
And then this isn't about this film, but he said, like, I always say a film should have a personality. And like a person, if he or she is very popular, I would feel very suspicious.
Whoa.
Tell yourself that anytime you get notes.
You know, in a way, while I was watching this, as you know, we both write and make films and whatever, I was struck by the genius of just these two seemingly different movies that are spliced into one.
It's crazy.
And how they complement each other. It's almost like having ideas for two different shorts, and then he was like, but I could also just put them together, and then I could play them off each other.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And I think as a filmmaker, you get to showcase so much of your talent that way of like, I'm gonna make two different stories,
but they're related.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but when the first one starts and there's that quote at the start that says, that's from the Japanese short story, it says, all of us are by nature wild beasts. Our duty as human beings is to become like trainers who keep their animals in check and even teach them to perform tasks alien to their bestiality. It's not from the short stories, but it's by Nakajima, who is the author of the short stories. That was a quote by him. When I saw that, and when I saw these soldiers taking picture with a dead body, I thought the film was going to be about like people losing their humanity and like carnal instincts and all that. Like that's what I thought the movie was.
Yeah.
And then there's a naked guy running in the woods, which of course, when you reach the second half, you realize is the spirit in human form. But that's why I had no idea what to expect. Like, I thought that's what the movie was going to be about. And even when he meets Tong, and I didn't realize that was the guy from the village, I thought, oh, that's the dead body at the end, and we're going to learn how this guy died. That's what I thought the movie was going to be about.
Right. Nothing so straightforward.
It's so, everything is ambivalent in this movie, and
you're right,
I really love it.
Your filmmaker brain is working because 99% of the time you would have been right. Like that's the path the movie would have taken.
Yeah.
But because it's him, he's on a whole other wavelength, and like he does not.
But then I'm trying to think about that quote and what it means to the story and what it means to this romance, and like,
right.
I don't know. I mean, I have some theories. We'll talk about it later, but then like you have that, but then it just goes into like full social realism, and it's like this town and this village and that singer who's amazing.
Yeah.
And looking for a job. And you know what? I love when he's looking for the job and he's in the army uniform and he's like, oh, you know, like I really need a job. Like I just wear this because I think it'll help me get a job. And the shoemaker's like, He's like, do you know anything about shoes? And he's like, no, what's there to know? And then he doesn't get the job. That's what I love so much about that, because any other movie would be like, poor kid,
yeah.
I'm going to give it to you. But the fact that he didn't get it.
And then he was
so
just
good.
kidding. He's like, just kidding. Because he's aware of how he's coming off. But
it's really good. And then the dog with cancer, like, what? What does that have to do with anything?
And that's not their dog?
That's Tong's dog.
Okay, yeah.
Which, like, is surprised. Like, obviously, I don't think they can afford the chemotherapy. Like, he keeps saying how he doesn't have money.
Well, I think
what happens?
I think it all. Well, we don't know that, but I think it all ties into the sickness in the jungle in this movie,
which I want to talk about.
Because it's like, the cows and stuff. Like, it's all part of the. I think the dog's cancer is part of that whole thing.
Never thought about that.
There's a lot in this movie to unpack, and we're not going to get everything.
There's a woman who just shows up, takes them to the cave in the temple.
Oh my God.
Who is that? What is she?
Wait, can we talk about that sequence for a second?
Yeah.
So she takes them to this cave. First of all, they're kind of like, they're being affectionate.
Romantic,
He has his head in his lap. She comes along. She's very friendly immediately. And she's like, hey, come with me to this cave. Takes them into this cave. Says that there's a passage that comes up into the lake, but that if you go through it, your light goes out. And they're like, oh, well, of course, 'cause she has a candle. And they're like, of course, because there's no air. And she's like, no, it even happens with flashlights. So they're about to go through the path, but then is it Kang or is it Tong who's like,
Tong stops Kang,
I don't want to go.
think.
Like, it's dangerous. I don't want to go. So they turn back.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's okay. Like, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But like, I thought we were going to return to that, but we don't.
Yes, that's very interesting.
What do you think about that?
I like it. I also love that when they're at the shrine, there's like some twinkle lights, but there's Christmas music.
Christmas music, yeah. Super digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean of just like we're going to get as real as possible, but also there's magic in this world.
There's...
Like,
yeah. No, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. No, the story that she tells of the little monk and like the rocks that turn into gold and silver. Random story about greed.
Yeah.
Doesn't really feel thematically relevant, but it works. But also, again, like in that, even in the telling of that magical story, like it's just like they put rocks in their bag and then when they exit, they're gold. And when they pull them out, they're silver and gold.
Then they go back for more.
Yeah.
And then because they get greedy, they turn into toads or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
The way it's told, and it's just like so grounded in reality, but so magical.
So there's I love this kind of movie so much. Like I'm a huge fan of movies that completely transport you to a different world, like a Lord of the Rings or something where it's a fantasy world that's created from the ground up. Like I have a lot of respect for I love those. But also almost even more than that, I love stories where these magical worlds are like just at the foot of ours, where it's like, if you just go through this cave, you'll see, or if you just go through this, like you go into these bushes, you crouch down, you crawl through these bushes, like the tree in Pan's Labyrinth, you know, she crawls into the tree. There's just a kind of like, there's something so special about that where it's hyper real and it's like, this is our world. And just in the distance, if you go here, you go there, and like, I love that.
I love that too.
Because it really like awakens your sort of like the sense of wonder.
I love that too.
And it just feels very special.
The monkey talking to him.
Yeah, the monkey.
At first I was like, oh my God.
Well, and it's such simple stuff. Because like it's a low budget movie. You shoot a monkey and you put subtitles. But I think so many other filmmakers would be like, well, no, we got to show the monkey's
mouth
talking.
has to move.
Yeah, it would look shitty. And I think as soon as you do that, you ruin it.
Yeah. Or what I love a lot is the tale in the second half when they're explaining that the shaman could like shapeshift into many different forms.
Oh, and you see the tail.
Walking with the hunter and then the tail just like right under her dress.
Yeah.
And he's like,
it's an easy thing to do, but very effective.
It's so good. I love it.
I think one thing he does in this movie really well too is like he just prepares you for to expect the unexpected, because you get to a certain point in this movie and you're like, oh, anything can happen in this.
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about the romance though, because it does evoke like Call Me by Your Name a little bit. However, in this one, it's interesting because I almost feel like Tong is obviously the younger one. You'd expect him to be like the very enamored Timmy Chalamet, let's say. But he's not. He's the one that walks off. He's the one who walks off into the jungle and then shows up as a tiger. But it's so I was very surprised by that. It is a gay romance, but it doesn't feel like it's about repression. Like they continue to cuddle when that woman from the temple comes, like no fucks given. Yeah. So it doesn't really feel like it's about that. Even when
the mom sees the note.
mom sees the note, I was gonna say. And she goes, she's kind of, when she first saw the note, I was like, oh shit, busted. But then it just didn't really matter.
Yeah.
He plays it kind of like, oh, that's for you. And she's like, oh, shut up. You're being silly, whatever. I don't know. Everything in the movie is ambivalent, like including their feelings about their relationship and the feelings of the people around them, like about this gay romance.
Well, and Joe himself is gay also.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There's the guy in the bathroom who kind of smiles at him because he's like, "Aren't you going to finish the movie?"
That's right.
It's his friend, and the guy's just like smiling at him. It's honestly kind of silly. He's smiling like really big.
Do you think that implies anything else?
I think it implies that he knows that they're hooking up.
Right. Not that they just hooked up, right?
No, I don't think so. But Kang is a soldier, so maybe it is like this idea of masculinity, and like maybe he is trying to suppress this. Like maybe that is what the hunt is at the end. But then you have like really romantic lines, like when they're talking about Uncle Boonmi and like, oh, I wouldn't want to remember 200 years, and I think Tong goes like, oh, because you don't have good memories, and King is like, from now on I will. And I'm like, whoa.
Or when he's like, you can have my heart.
Yeah,
My heart is
like,
yours.
What? And then like he puts it in it, like he like puts his hand in his back and he's like, can you feel it? Like I'm giving it to you. And they're like joking, and again, so natural. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
And also like this smirk, this trademark smirk. It happens in the credits, where it's Kang just like looking at the camera. And then it also happens in the bus when Tong is looking at a girl and the girl is kind of looking at him.
That's right.
And it's so funny because when I didn't know it was a romance, when the bus happened and that exchange was happening, I was like, oh, this reminds me a lot of that soldier guy at the start. Like, why?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, well, it's romance. Like, it's like,
you know what the first half of this movie kind of reminded me of? Loosely, but I was reminded most vividly of some of the early work of Wong Kar-wai. Like his first couple movies, especially, what's it called? Days of Being Wild.
Oh.
And Happy Together too.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right?
Happy Together.
Yeah.
Which is also on that Sight and Sound list. Guess what's number 1 on that Sight and Sound LGBTQ list?
There's an LGBTQ list?
That's what I just said. Remember I said this movie's number 6?
Yeah. What is number 1?
Carol.
I mean, shit. Yeah, it's great. But number 1?
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't think it should be that? I love it.
I mean, no, I love it too. But there's so many great ones.
There's only 30 on the list.
Oh, okay.
It's the 30 best. Number 1 is Carol. Number 2 is Weekend, which I haven't seen.
Andrew Hay.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Happy Together is number 3. Brokeback is number 4. Paris is Burning is number 5. Tropical Malady is number 6.
Wow.
Yeah. So what is this movie about?
So many things, really. Can you really distill this down into one sentence?
I feel like
thematically,
it's almost like it's like the physical manifestation of love or desire and
pursuit.
Like, yeah, I think so. And it's like very rooted in nature, like hunter and prey, but also the prey is hunting the hunter. It's rooted in folklore, like the whole story of the shaman. So it's like, how do you express that love and desire through nature, through folklore, the way it intersects with our everyday lives? These like kind of, both of the like nature and folklore. And just the way you can get like obsessed with someone maybe.
An all-consuming kind of, because look, it never feels like love in this movie because they don't know each other very well.
No. Well, we're not seeing it. Maybe
it's
like
a very physical thing.
Yeah.
It's a playful
thing.
thing.
Kiss though.
Yeah. But that first, because the movie theater is the first time, and when he puts his hand there and like,
I know, and
the sort of awkwardness of like him crossing his legs, and then like is he into it? Is he not into it?
Him. Yeah.
Because I feel like he's bi, because he was staring at the woman on the bus, smiling.
Yeah.
You know, too, I think that like his films, you can only truly understand them if you're Thai yourself, because they're so deeply rooted in Thai culture, which again, I don't know much about. So it's like watching his films is like truly like you kind of feel like you're missing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. I agree with everything you just said. Like thematically, like it's
because he does say like the monkey tells him his spirit is starving and lonesome. I see you are his prey and his companion. He says that about the tiger. And then he says, like, the spirit is crying.
I love that.
It's so good. But then also I was rewatching it, and when he comes face to face with the tiger, which is like amazing, they also mentioned earlier that the tiger runs off the memories of people. So I think that the tiger takes Tong's form and his memories, because the tiger looks at him and says, I miss you. And he's like, and I see it all right now. I see my mother and my father, who we've met, Tong's mother and father. And then, yeah, that's how he gets him. Like, that's how he gets Kang. And Kang is like, I give you my flesh and my spirit. That's like a literal adaptation.
Right. But I don't think they're supposed to be Tong and Kang in the second half.
I don't know. I feel like they have to be. Why would he cast them?
I feel like it's playing off of that. But I don't think they're supposed to be the literal same characters.
But the tiger says something like, I missed you, my soldier. And it's like,
right.
I think it is. I think it's Kang. Now the tiger is just taking the form of Tong. But then it's also a metaphor for their relationship.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah, it could be. It could be. I like to just it's like what you said too, it really interesting. The fact that the first half is called Tropical Malady and then the second half has a different, what's the title of the second half?
Spirit's Path.
It's interesting then that the film was just called Tropical
Malady. I know. What is the malady?
Can I say,
Love?
though, I love the title of this movie.
Tropical Malady is great.
Because it's like, what is this movie? And the post, have you seen the poster for this movie?
No.
I'm obsessed with the poster.
What does it look like?
It's fucking amazing. So it's an image of them sitting.
Like the movies, I thought.
No, this is it.
Oh, I didn't even look too closely at it.
So it's them sitting on like a wooden platform looking out into the jungle. And that's the bottom half. And then the top half of the poster just has all these kind of wispy, spirity type things. And Tropical Malady, the font is very like...
It's like dragonflies.
Gloopy, dragonfly kind of like... It's just an arresting poster where when I first saw this, I was like, what is this movie?
I can't find a high quality image of it.
Of the poster?
Yes.
If you go on Letterboxd, they have a pretty high.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm just in love with this poster. Like, it's so fucking cool. And I think, too, there's a thing with this movie. It looks like it was kind of like... Yeah, they do look like jellyfish. There's a thing with this movie, and it's visualized in the poster here, the main poster, but it's very handmade.
Yeah.
Like, I know that it's kind of a co-production. I see some French producers on this and stuff.
One of the cinematographers was French.
But, like, it feels almost like he made it himself. Like, to his credit, like, you know, it feels like... I was gonna try to pronounce his last name again, but now it's been too long since I've said it, and I forgot, so I'm just going to call him Joe. It feels like Joe just kind of, like... imagined this movie, went out into the jungle and did everything himself and just did it because it's such a pure vision, a singular vision, and he's just such an original. Like, he really is. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And it makes me even, you know, the fact now that he's crossed over, and I hate that this is the sign of like you've made it, but the fact that he made an English language movie with Tilda Swinton, you know, it just goes to show that, you know, he's incredible.
Yeah. Do you have any other theories?
I don't have any other theories. I also finished this last night right before bed and then went to sleep and then woke up and we're recording. I'll also say I saw a lot of Miyazaki in this.
Yeah.
Miyazaki takes things further. It's more literal.
Yeah.
But there's also, and I think inherent just sort of in Japanese mythology and stuff is like the spirits of the trees and the grass and
everything
the wind.
A spirit, yeah.
And so I saw a lot of like Mononoke in this. I even saw some Totoro with the framing of them sort of on these like
platforms,
nighttime.
Yeah.
And they're just sort of like surrounded by wilderness.
Yeah.
And like, well, you know, I'm just thinking of the scene with them waiting for the bus and Totoro or like a lot of those. So there's this like, again, not to say it feels like those or like he's pulling from that necessarily, but you just kind of feel the DNA of a lot of great artists that came before him too.
Yeah. Another thing I just realized is when he's in his bedroom, so like they lick each other's hands. Tong walks off. Kang drives back into town, but he's happy. Again, it's very ambivalent. Like, we're just like, okay, like everything you don't expect.
Yeah.
And then the next morning or another morning, where in his bedroom, Tong wakes up, even though he walked off, he's there. And then Kang is also there, unexplained. But that's when they start talking about, oh, these animals are disappearing. And then we immediately get into the spirit's path.
Yeah.
I think it is Kang. I think that is what gives it away for me.
Yeah.
And also, like, he's sitting on a bed. Did he fall asleep? Is the second part a dream?
Oh.
Kang's dream.
Right. Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Oh, it's so rich. I think too, it's so unassuming. And I can imagine seeing this at a festival when it came out, not knowing who he is, and seeing this movie, and it kind of starts. You're like, okay, it's gonna be like this like Thai drama or something, you know. And then it just it unfolds into this big thing. Like, it's cosmic. It's like, I think again, the way it takes a certain kind of special kind of filmmaker that's able to imply so much with so little.
Yeah.
And you're right. Yeah. I mean, the last you see of that story, he's sitting on a bed. So make of that what you will.
Yeah.
And everything in this movie is so deliberately framed. And again, it's like in the first half, it feels real, but it's a very observed kind of real, where it's not like handheld following them through their lives. It's like everything is very composed and very deliberate. And so you're like, okay, well, if they're doing this or they're standing here, like that stuff just feels very considered and like an important piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
But God, it's really something.
Yeah.
I remember reading these stories as a kid that maybe I think they were African. There's a character named Jadu. Does this sound familiar to you at all? But it was kind of like this in the sense that and I'm sure I think it was based on like a piece of folklore or something, but it was this character that kind of transforms into animals, and it felt very much like this.
Yeah.
I remember my mom reading them to me as a kid, but I don't know if they're like problematic now or not. They might be, but it's actually a white invention. I have no idea. But yeah, watching this just recalls all of those. It's like the wonder of childhood, but it's also this very adult romance that's unfolding. And so you get these two worlds that kind of collide. And yeah, I think like any master, I was going to say surrealist, but I wouldn't say that he's really a surrealist.
Just like fantasy.
Yeah.
Magical realism. Magical naturalism.
Yeah. No, it's right. But like, yeah, he implies so much with so little, just a line. Like, and David Lynch was so good at that too. Like, just as you're watching Twin Peaks, like one line that just could imply so many things, that opens the door in your mind to all these different corridors and like, what is this? What could this possibly mean? And yeah, it's so rich. It's rich texturally, thematically. It's a beautiful piece of work.
I agree. You changed your mind.
Well, no, I mean, I liked it. I think the more we talk about it, the more I fall in love with it. I think on first blush, I appreciate some of his later work a little bit more, just because it feels even more Joe. But yeah, the more we talk about this, like this really stands out in the ones that I've seen. This stands out as just kind of its own thing.
It's very, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many like romances he has.
But it is always, there's a strong character element in his stuff. But I think like he's known for quote unquote slow cinema. And this movie is not really,
it's pretty slow.
It's pretty slow, but it doesn't take things to that, like, there's a couple shots that hold here for quite a while.
Yeah, we don't look at a door for like that long.
And I feel like he kind of evolved into that.
Yeah.
Which I'm into.
Yeah.
But that almost like Bellatar kind of like Tarkovsky world. And in some ways, I think this is almost his most accessible of the ones I've seen. I think Memoria might be I don't know. Do you think one of those is more accessible than the other?
I don't know. Memoria has a long... Remember the moment of silence?
Yes.
In Memoria?
Yeah.
See, that's kind of like...
Well, that one is like true slow cinema.
Yeah.
This one is like kind of just a slower movie.
This is more like social, like, realism.
They're going to say Social Network for a second.
No, it's like social realism of like, okay, now we're in town and we're just going to track like people's everyday lives. And
Yeah.
it's going to be slow because that's what life is sometimes if you just stop and pay attention. I don't know.
I just like that he takes the time to like this whole like the with the singer, and he goes up on stage.
Yes.
Also, he comes up on stage and already has this like amazing voice. But like we see the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
We see the song.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there's a patience to the filmmaking. And it's just under 2 hours too. So it's not like a long movie.
Yeah.
It's like an hour 50, hour 54, something like that.
But like, why were they taking pictures with a dead body at the start?
I think it was a cow.
No, it's a dead body because then they bring him to the house and they're like, does anyone recognize him? Do you guys know who he is?
Well, because they're the ones part of the forest patrol or whatever that are like looking for the...
Yeah, but they like pose with him. That's why I really thought this movie was going to be
Right.
something so different.
yeah.
And then he's playing like an army video game. I'm like, okay, like the violence, it's coming. Like it's like,
Right. Yeah, they're in an internet cafe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, but I think, yeah, I like all of our theories and all of our thoughts.
It's really, really rich. Sight and sound?
Yeah.
What's your favorite sight?
It's gotta be when when he flashes the flashlight on the tiger, and it's the perfect. It's like a recreation of the. I don't know what that is. It's like an old graphic that he then puts in the.
Oh yeah,
There's an
yeah.
insert.
Of the almost like a cave
tiger,
painting.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the shot when he turns on his flashlight and the tiger's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Mine is almost the tree of fireflies, which is such a cool thing.
Yeah.
I love too the ghost of the wait, what dies in this movie and the ghost comes out?
Cow.
The cow, yeah.
That was cool.
Again, just like beautifully done. It like looks, there's a certain matter of factness to the way that all the mystical stuff kind of looks that you're just like, yeah. But it's actually, there's a shot when they're leaving the cave, they're in the background, and then in the foreground there's this statue and some people are praying at it, and then the light,
I know exactly what
sunlight is kind of pouring in through the top
Yeah.
there, the opening in the cave. And it just
Yeah,
struck me
it's
as
beautiful.
a really enchanting image. But there's so many great frames in this movie that are just like evoke such a sense of wonder.
Yeah.
What about sound?
It's the song. It's when he gets up there and sings.
Of course.
Because there's no music before that, and it's just such a like. It reminded me like of After Sun. It reminded me of like, I don't know. He just gets to like queen out for a sec. Like you know what I mean? Like it was so unexpected, and his voice is very beautiful. And this, yeah, that's it.
Let's hear it.
ใจเราตรงกันวิญญาณสัมพันธ์เพราะว่านาลีเราจะรักภักดีร้อยวิญญาณชีวิตที่ว่านาลีเอ่ย
I thought that this woman had a crush on him or something.
Had a crush on Kang. She said, "This is for you, handsome man," and even
That's
says
right.
his name.
Yeah,
they all
yeah.
know him.
Yeah. And then I felt like too, the women, like the woman that takes them into the cave and then she takes him back to her friend, like I thought they were trying to get it on with them too, because she keeps mentioning like, oh my god, you guys are so cute and cute soldiers. Do you want soda? Do you want to do this? Do you want to go to the mall? And I'm like, what are their intentions here?
That's funny. What's your favorite sound?
My favorite sound, this is very general, but it's just the sound of the jungle. It's not even one specific scene, but the way that it's so deafening is just like...
Let's hear it. I thought it was going to be the rain.
That's great too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as someone who lives in California, the jungle is probably the most exotic thing I could think of, because it's the one thing we don't have in California.
Yeah.
We have desert, we have mountains, we have snow, we have beach,
Yeah.
but we don't have jungle.
Uh-oh.
What are all the biomes? Am I missing one?
Tundra.
Tundra. Do we have tundra? No, not really.
What is tundra? Does anyone even know?
But yeah, we do not have jungle. In fact, I don't think well, maybe some places in the South kind of have like...
that's swamp.
Yeah, it's more swamp. It's more bayou country.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we have to go to Hawaii for the jungle.
Oh, I have been to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I've been in the jungle, but yeah. And I've been to Puerto Vallarta, which is not technically jungle, but it's technically forest. But I remember, oh my God, totally unrelated, but I'm a huge arachnophobe. And there was this, I think it was called Yalapa. It's this island off of Puerto Vallarta, and you have to take a boat there. And we got to this little village, which was very jungly. And you're in the main stretch of the village, just like a few buildings on one side and a little dirt road. And I look up, and above us was just a canopy of spider webs.
Oh,
hanging over the village, and the spiders themselves, like their bodies were like the size of rocks.
Wow.
And I remember looking up and seeing that and just be like freaking out, like, oh my God.
What did you do?
Well, strangely enough, I was like 18. Like, I've actually become more of an arachnophobe as time has gone on. In fact, while I was watching this movie, I was just like, man, I can only imagine the kinds of fucked up spiders they have in the jungle here. Like, yeah, I can't deal.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
I don't mind spiders too much, but I saw a cockroach probably for the first time like a month ago.
Wait, what do you mean for the first time?
I've never seen a really big cockroach like that.
Living in LA, you've never seen them?
Not big like that.
Huh.
Like, it was like this big. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
It was this big with like antennas.
Yeah.
Like, and I freaked the fuck out.
Where did you see it?
My apartment.
Oh.
And then I didn't sleep there for like 3 days. I'm not kidding. I wouldn't be scared of a spider like that. But now, but I feel like I understand your fear. After seeing that, I was like, I was walking around my house with a can of Raid for like a week.
Anyway. Wow. Well, this is normally where we do Pauline Kael, but Pauline Kael died before this movie came out.
I didn't know she died.
Yeah. This came out in 2004. I think she died in like 2001.
Wow.
Something like that. But
we have Letterboxd.
Actually,
I'm going to log it because I forget to log. When I do this podcast, I forget to log.
I pulled a Jackie on this one where I logged it and hearted it, but didn't give it any stars. Because I was like
that, because you don't know what you want to give it and you don't want to live by that.
Yeah,
you don't
this
want
one I was
to
like,
hold you against that.
I was like, what do I give this?
Yeah. I love the heart.
Yeah.
I don't like rating things. I don't. Someone gave it 4.5 stars. Isn't this how love is supposed to be? It starts out with the exchange of mixtapes, which then goes on to the hands holding before ending up with the cuddling. But gradually you learn to give in to your primal instinct. You bare your soul and offer your whole being, mind, body, flesh, and spirit to the other person, who just happens to be a nocturnal beast in the woods, knowing you won't come out of it alive. And between reality and fantasy, or the romantic daydream and the nightmare, I would always choose the latter.
I do love that the mixtape is the Clash.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, it led to, I think the subtitles need to be redone for this movie because sometimes the subtitles didn't 100% make sense.
Yeah.
And they referred to the Clash as just Clash. Maybe that's just...
That's your problem.
No, but it did make me wonder that if the subtitles were like 100% accurate. 4 stars, 2 halves of a whole. Fits together like a head in a lap and fades like a breeze taking possession of a song. Everything we don't give away will forge its own path and find way to be returned on the earth.
That's so good. Someone just hearted it and said, the masculine urge to make a gay monster movie.
I have this one. That was my next one. So good. That's absolutely what it is. 4.5 stars. There's a time before Tropical Malady and a time after. And now that I'm in the latter, I don't know what to do. It feels like I've been told some divine secret, and I no longer know how to go about my regular life with that knowledge.
Wow.
Reminds me again of what Bergman said about Tarkovsky, or what Tarkovsky said about Bergman, about getting the key to the room that you never knew you had access to before.
Yeah. Someone gave it 0.5 star and said tomato. Which I thought was hilarious.
Wait, I'm trying to remember.
Just throw it like they're throwing tomatoes at it.
I was like, is there a scene where he fucks a tomato that I don't remember? 0.5 star. Yet again, I'm giving half star to a movie that the 2022 Sight and Sound Critics Poll says is one of the 100 best movies of all time. I just found Tropical Malady completely boring and impenetrable, and much more concerned with artistic profundity than storytelling or entertainment.
Okay.
The first story is slightly more engaging than the second, but honestly, what's the point of either of them? I just didn't get it. I'm like, these movies are not required to be entertainment.
I agree.
It's like when we talked about Do the Right Thing last week. We're like, this movie can do both. Although I think if you're not trained to just watch the modern blockbuster shit of today, this movie is pretty entertaining.
I think so.
Like, there is a story here. There's magic.
There's tension in the first half.
Yeah, there's a love story. There's magic.
Yeah. Someone gave it 5 stars and said, just out here trying to get my spirit, flesh, and memories consumed. Romance is definitely dead, guys.
That's funny. A couple people mentioned watching it at night, which I think is like mandatory for one of Joe's movies. Like, you have to watch them at night. You can't watch these during the day, right?
I watched this during the day.
Oh, did you?
I watched it. Actually, I woke up and I watched it in the morning on Tuesday.
See, that almost works.
Yeah. Like,
If
I
you
was
see it
done
first
by
thing
10
in the morning.
a.m.
Yeah. Last one I have 1 star. Sorry, film buffs, film students, and Sight and Sound, but Tropical Malady was a very boring film for me. As with Yee Yee, if you're going to just follow people around their daily lives, at least have some excitement about it. The lack of a soundtrack affects my ability to feel drawn into and involved in the film. Moments of just atmospheric sounds just makes me switch off. Also, how do you compare this to Yee Yee?
Yee Yee has a whole plot. Like, there's like 3 characters' lives that we're following. Like, there's a lot going on in Yee Yee.
So ridiculous.
What the hell? And
Yeah.
why do people like this even bother? Like, why are you guys watching these? You clearly don't like them.
Go watch Thunderbolts. That was for you.
Don't you mean the new Avengers?
I don't understand what happened there.
Why do we keep going back to Marvel?
It's such
why
an
can't
easy
we get
target.
through one episode without talking about it?
I know. Honestly, I'm tired of taking the easy target with Marvel and Godard. I'm so tired of talking about Godard.
He's rolling in his grave right now.
Fuck him.
Oh my God.
Because we had to bring him up at some point. Here, consider it done.
Someone had a really deep read into the gayness of it all. They said, okay, 5 stars. This is my last one. The most maturely and crafted film, both structurally and thematically, and interpersonally introspective work of the 21st century thus far. The way that homosexual couples are abused by their environment, treated like literal animals by some, and the way that this lack of acceptance and looming anxiety sometimes leads to separations and relationship deterioration, both inside and outside the queer community.
See, I don't know that I agree with that because
no,
it's like we
they're
said,
not being
ostracized. Yeah,
no,
it's pretty accepting in this.
It's interesting that was that person's take.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, again, it may be something we're entirely missing because we don't really know Thai culture.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, in this film, at least it seems that it's pretty accepted.
Maybe he means like the way that Tong is the tiger at the end and like running in the woods naked and like. But that's not. I don't know. I didn't see that like that. But
the whole time too, I thought about the logistics of filming that. Of like, okay, strip naked. Okay, with your bare feet, run through this jungle where there's probably some fucked up spiders and shit in there. You fall and you're completely naked, and there's like a crazy spider or something.
Do you think they had an intimacy coordinator?
No, guaranteed they didn't.
I'm joking.
Well,
what's next week?
Next week is another real favorite of world cinema. It's Daisies.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
And Daisies has seen, especially in the last few years, like the Daisies squad has grown, and people are there for Daisies.
I saw it once. I liked it. Maybe I have a feeling on this watch I'm gonna be like, this is the best movie ever. We'll see.
I've never seen it.
Then we've switched roles for once.
We have. I know.
I want to know how many times this has happened. You hadn't seen Mirror, I don't think.
I
right?
hadn't. No.
That's the other time this happened.
Yeah.
Twice?
Yeah, something. Maybe. Also, we said this last episode, but we are skipping. You might be like, oh, why are you skipping Meshes of the Afternoon? It's because we had done it already for our S'mores series, which used to be a Patreon exclusive, but we went and we made the episode public. So all you have to do, it's like episode 70 something. So you go back in time, or you can even just search it. But it's called The Films of Maya Deren. That's our episode. We cover a few of Maya Deren's shorts, including Meshes of the Afternoon. So if you're wondering why we never did it, we did. And it's there for you. It's from like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Go take a listen. But yeah, that'll do it for this week. Join us next week for Daisies.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm Greg.
I'm Jackie.
And we'll see you in the jungle.
Bye.
Seen and Heard is an official podcast of the Arroyo Film Club. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to drop us a line, you can find us on email at hello@seenandheardpod.com or on Instagram @seenandheardpod.